Today we are rating AI-generated Magic the Gathering cards, and we're going to act like wizards are indeed to see if they are a pass or fail. Are we going to ship it or shred it? We're going to start with Blaze These Creatures, a black and one generic, a sorcery, until end of turn. Creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Just in case you didn't see or read that one the first time. Scry 1. Is that Nissa smoking a pipe? You know, I don't know much about these, like, recreational substances. You know, I don't indulge myself, but I think this is what's going on. You know, from my perspective, why would it give you +2/+2 until end of turn? Shouldn't it give you, like, -2 +0 until end of turn? And maybe, I don't know, you can scry 3 if you want. A lot of people think that they, like, see much deeper when they're blazed. I think this is what this picture means. Why would it give you scry 1? A lot of people think they see things. You know what I mean? They can see deeper. They're more creative. Their mind is on another level. I'm sure it's all natural. And of course it would be Nissa. Nissa knows where to get the good stuff. Hell, she probably grows her own stuff in that forest. Being the green planeswalker and all. It enhances your abilities, I would know. Well, see, this is what a lot of people tell me, but then, like, especially when it comes to a game like chess, and then they just get crushed. You know, it just screws around with your memory enough that, and you know, a lot of games, and especially combat, I'm sure requires some sort of memory. But I don't know, I imagine the scry should be higher. What do you guys think? Are we shipping or shredding this thing? It is, I think this is a very entertaining card, if nothing else. The +2/+2 in scry 1 sounds insane. What, for a black and one generic? This doesn't sound that ridiculous. Scry 50, then shuffle your library. All that work, and then it just goes. It goes into thin air. All right, are we shipping this? Oh, you guys think you like this one? You ship it. You get high and think about chess, then play sober. That's a great idea. We should play chess, man. You know, the classic game of kings and queens. Alright, looks like this card's gonna pass, as strange enough as that is. I was smoking last night before a pre-release event, and first game I comboed a Lotus into a Shivan Devastator. What? Did that Lotus exist? Alright. What a funny way to start this whole thing off. Cavalry Frog. Red, 4 generic. An enchantment with flash. This spell can't be countered. Alright, useful. Permanents enter the battlefield as a copy of Cavalry Frog. So basically, this thing's on the battlefield, and nothing else can enter the battlefield as anything except this useless enchantment. But you're the only one who is able to get it in play uncounterably and with flash. How do you win the game? Is this like just some way? Oh, you know what? This actually might be very good in a burnish deck. It's not just no permanents. You know, it's also no planeswalkers, no artifacts, no other enchantments. And so, like, if you're a red deck and you intend on burning everyone down to the ground, you play this thing, and now nobody can do anything except combo out. Yeah, it's like super pro storm. Although, if you get this much mana, I imagine you just want to storm off. But maybe if you can't, you just play the Cavalry Frog. Does Frog have a second meaning? You know, these AI-generated cards, sometimes they're being literal with what they say, but sometimes they're not. Blood Moon for permanence. Ship it. The Blood Moon for permanence. Seems fun with Starfield of Nyx, but it's also... Oh, I guess if you get... It's just permanents entering the battlefield. All permanents on the battlefield at the moment get to stay. So it's not exactly like Blood Moon. And yeah, if you get the Starfield of Nyx out first, then all your future Cavalry Frogs will, well, your future permanents, yeah, will be able to attack. If you have more cards in your library, you draw a pass, and whoever draws out first loses. Yeah, well, I mean, assuming the opponents can't combo off. Lands become copies too. Only if they're enchantments. Oh no, permanents entering the battlefield. Oh yeah, that's right. So it is like a blood moon. All permanents, the lands too. Good God. So if you can get this out turn 1, well, maybe you lose. I mean, if you have any sort of artifact mana or something like that, you know, if you ramped into this thing, Mountain, Soul Ring, I don't know, Grim Monolith, somehow pull off a bunch of rituals, Cavalry Frog, you'd be the only one with the Mountain and your artifacts, and everyone else loses. All right, we shipping or shredding this thing? Is this even a good design? Would Wizard of the Coast want to design something like this? It's expensive though for 7 mana and this jank. Generally speaking, people have some sort of board state on the battlefield. Could you flicker this and then sneak something onto the battlefield between that trigger? Absolutely, you could. Yep, you could flicker this. It's not on the battlefield, and then it's got to be. Remember, it does have to be a flicker effect like Flicker Wisp, but you know, it's got to be in spell form because Flicker Wisp will just enter the battlefield as Cavalry Frog. Some people are shred. No, they don't like this. So if you people want to ship it, you got to yell louder. Ship it for the lols. Shred. The sample size looks good enough for me. All right, looks like not enough people like this card. So we're going to shred it. It's very interesting design, though. Very interesting. Impressive to lands, though. Should have been non-land permanents. Swords of Surge. Blue, 1 generic for a 1/1 zombie. When Swords of Surge enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. Oh, good God. This could be good in, I don't know, some sort of, I don't want to say dredge. Well, maybe dredge, because all the dredge creatures uses dredge. And then pay 1, return Sword of Surge to its owner's hand. Well, that thing is bananas. Okay, so like it's like Gray Merchant. This is effectively something like Gray Merchant, maybe even worse. Gray Merchant costs 5 mana and does something similar, and it's stuck on the battlefield. You can't just recur this thing all over and over again. But for 1 mana, if you play this 4 mana, 3 mana pay this, 1 mana up, you can bounce this thing back to your hand and replay it and do this all over again. And you'll have the time to do it, because you just gained a pile of life from the graveyard. Can we send links to AI-generated cards? You cannot. Sorry about that. Bonkers. Can I put in my zombie EDH deck? You absolutely could. It would be the best zombie in that deck as well. That card would actually be cool as F for a mill deck. Yeah, a mill deck, a Vengevine deck. I think a lot of decks could take advantage of this. Those self-milling Crabvine decks, you know what I mean? It's Flame Tongue Urborg Lurgoyf. Print it. All right, so what are we printing or shredding this thing? Shred blue don't gain life. Well, in this case, they do. It is a color pie break. At least it's a rare. All right, some. I guess here comes the tribal players who want this in their zombie deck. Ship it. Ship it. Blue card where? Ship it again. All right, looks like this one's gonna pass. I actually think this is broken as hell. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it's a 1/1 creature. Block, return it back to your hand, replay it. I think it's pretty broken. And now we're moving up to Irem Campus. Looks like some sort of Pokemon game. Okay, red blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 7 or more creatures, draw a card. Whenever you attack with a creature with power 4 or greater, draw a card. Whoa! Well, at the first one looked like it was really hard to pull off, but the second one is not hard at all. The second one is easy peasy whenever you attack with a creature with power 4 or greater, but still, you still have to attack. Very interesting card. Not broken whatsoever. I'm sure there's a lot of people who'd want to play this card. Not green, weird, but red. Red has some chonky, primal, beefy stuff. Don't think that green is the only stuff that's swole in the Magic universe. We should ban the color pie. Magic was so fun in 93, 94 and Planar Chaos. Hey, that's right. Just as Richard Garfield intended. They were still feeling out the color pie at the time, you know? It's still a little flexible these days. It fits with blue very well. Yeah, it draws cards. With that wording, it's draw for every 4 or greater, though. Whenever you attack with a creature, yeah, so if you attack with 3 creatures, power 4 or greater, you get 3 cards. Each one will trigger. Seems cheap. Should be 5 CMC. Should be a creature deals damage to a player for blue. Yes. You know what? Sveloon gets a card drawn just for attacking, so it's not outside the range of blue anyway. So are we shipping or shredding this card? Actually looks pretty innocent to me. I think they could print something like this. It's not even something that can be abused by, say, a control deck. They can't make use of this card at all. So you actually have to put in a deck with a bunch of creatures in it. Ideally, big creatures. We're shipping it? All right, we shipping it. Democracy has spoken. It's coastal piracy, but better. Well, you gotta splash that red for it, though. Yeah, attacking is a lot easier than dealing damage. All right, we've got the Warden of, what, Ethereal? 2 generic mana, an artifact, add no mana. Tap, add no mana. No, that's innovative right there. Some people are trying to go up on mana. The AI heard all the commander discourse on the internet. We got to go down on artifact mana. Boom. Not only the commander discourse, but also the modern discourse, the pioneer discourse. Add 0. I've never seen that before. It's like seeing a mana cost in the text box for some reason. 2 mana. Oh, is this even a creature? It looks like a creature, but it's not. More like Warden of nothing. Shred the Warden. Some people want to ship it. Does this have any benefit at all? It's just a random ability. Way too OP, obviously. Name makes no sense. Shred it. I'm disclaiming my right to vote right now because I love anarchy at the moment. Urza would still love this. It's true. Urza loves all the artifacts, no matter how pathetic you appear to be. Alright, I guess you have no purpose. To be honest, they might... Would they print this? They've printed some pretty close to useless cards, but this would be very, very much down there. Very much down there. We've got Tazenet. Treasure Ascending Sands. The Treasure Ascending Sands? Okay. Legendary creature, Spirit Soldier, 4/4 for 4 mana. Fabricate 2. What does that do? I don't remember what the Fabricate was. So I actually can't determine if this is a good or bad card. But it looks okay. I mean, white 2 generic for a 4/4. Seems like a regular card to me. Jake says ship it. What does Fabricate mean? Hold on. MTG Fabricate. It is a triggered ability. Means when this permanent enters the battlefield, you may put N +1/+1 counters on it. Can't read the rest of it. Google cut me off. On the creature, or create a number of 1/1 colorless servo artifact creature tokens. The number after Fabricate tells you how many +1/+1 counters or servos you get. So you can either get 2 counters on the creature, you get 2 servos. That's not bad. That's not bad. That would be a fantastic limited card. That is perfectly fair in my opinion. It's not terrible. Yeah, let's ship it this card. It's not insane. The Ascending Sands, bringing the treasure. Good enough. Yeah, 6 power no matter what. Echo Raid. Black, blue, 2 generic for an Arcane Instant. Choose 1. Return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Or draw 3 cards. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Good God! So this can draw 4 cards. Return target creature card with... And it's only 4 mana. It's like Fact or Fiction, except keep all of it. Or I guess what? Fact or Fiction is like 5 cards. Whatever. It's basically 4 cards. Draw 4 for 4 at instant speed. And Arcane! You could put this on top of like... Hold on, what does Arcane mean? I thought Arcane you could like put on other spells and get like double the value. Holy, 4 mana, draw 4 cards. It has card advantage, and it's within the color pie. It's blue and black. Also, by the way, you could return a target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. This is way busted, says Harry. That's splice onto Arcane? Oh, okay, gotcha. Some spells can splice onto Arcane spells. Okay, okay, so we can't double this Arcane spell. We can only double the splice spells if we play an Arcane spell. So you think, are we shipping or shredding it? Because while you think about it, we are going to be thanking our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com, your one-stop shop to get all your paper Magic singles. I build all my modern decks and pauper decks. I say pauper decks as like I'm only building one, but I get the cards at FusionGamingOnline.com. I'm assembling the Fairy Miscreant, the Ninja of the Deep Hours. Deal of the week this week. Save 15% off all Magic promos. That means promo, you know, F&M promos, judge promos like Force of Will. There are big promos out there. There were these classic weekend reward full art promos that they did. And now all those cards 15% off. You want to be at you got to check out Fusion Gaming every single week because the deal of the week changes every week. But if 15% off wasn't enough for you, get an additional 5% off when you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. Saves you money and it supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Your ability to play any deck, any format, anytime you want. You want to play one-on-one Commander, you want to play Pauper, Modern, Legacy, Vintage, you want to play with Black Lotus, you can do that with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_B2Q. And now back to the AI generated card. So we shipping or shredding this card? My coffee crew. Oh, it's a little bit split around here. We got a shred, a ship it, a shred. Okay, looks like you guys don't like that much card advantage. So away it goes. Millmaster with the super chat. Yeah, you wrote I am a fish 50 times, did a funny little dance and fainted. When you say I am a fish 50 times, I will jump out of your computer screen and present myself. Something like Beetlejuice. Alright, what is this? The Giant Anger. It's hard to make out, but it's a green and a red for another arcane spell. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Giant Anger deals 4 damage to its controller. It's like a significantly worse... What was that? What's the blue card? It's like a far grossly worse Prophetic Bolt? Is that what I'm thinking of? How much money would you want from a super chat to play a commander deck on Magic the Gathering Online? No amount of money. I will only play my own decks. I guess for $1,000, I would make exceptions. Shred? Wait, this is perfectly fair. There's actually nothing broken about this card. You're just shredding it because you don't like it. Although this is a very bad card. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible card. There are so many better pump spells that don't deal damage to you at all. Do you know who might want to use this card? Death Shadow. Oh yes. 4 life closer to the shadow. That would be the super buff. You deal 2 damage to yourself. You pump up your Death Shadow by +2/+2. There's an alternate reality where people actually like this card. Bad burn spell. Draft common. I just used the Giant Growth. Shred. Alright, you guys don't like it. You guys are no fun. Not seeing the possibilities here. Okay, auto... I'm gonna assume the CH is silent. Auto... Morky Hungry. It's a Planeswalker. Black, blue, 2 generic. 4 loyalty. +1. Copy the number of lands you control. Go my god! Okay. I think that's the strongest ramp card I've ever seen in my life. And there's 3 more abilities. 0 for... that we went up on that one. +1 to double the number of lands that we have in play. Okay, so 0 for each tapped land you control this turn, you lose 1 life. You ask your friend over there controlling this card, hey, do you mind hitting the 0 at least once every other turn if you don't mind? Please? Okay, -3. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. And then -5. Audoth, Mtg Hungry, deals damage to any target equal to the number of wizards you control. So this is a wizard planeswalker here. Even the 0 is good for shit. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, it would be good in a Death Shadow deck. Well, maybe. I don't know if they want to double copy the number of lands you control. Mono needs more busted cards. Ship it. You can just number on a piece of paper as a souvenir from the match. Ultimate flex. Incorrect ruling terms would be create a token of target land. No, of all lands you control. Repeat this process for each. Oh, really? It has to create a token of each target land. Can't you just create a token of each land that you control? I think that makes sense. Permanently doubling your lands or triple with Anointed Procession. Yes, yes. You're a wizard, Nika. This card seems a little too good. And you would get them immediately. I wonder, do the copies come into play tapped because the ones that you had tapped? No, I guess not. When you make a copy, it would just come in fresh. So this is a complete free roll. Wilderness Reclamation, step aside because we now have Audoth, Mtg Hungry, and he's hungry for lands. Set it aflame. Away with this thing. I imagine Mark Rosewater's looking at this thing, then looking at the person who made this, looking at this thing. What are you, nuts? Yeah, I got it from the rating AI generated Robo Rosewater M account. Come on, it's a good design. I promise I'll hit the 0. What's funny is that it's +1. It's like Oko. You know, you just keep doubling your lands. God, that is one of the more... You know, every time we do this, we see something insanely broken. Just beyond broken. Okay, we've got the Emozying Crew. Emozying Crew. No, it's a Emozioning. Whatever, you get it. 1 mana for a 1/1 creature with Defender. And for 1 generic, a white and a blue. So a hybrid. Emozying Crew becomes a token instead. Yes, you keep Emozying-ing yourself. I guess that's what it means to Emozyong. It means to turn into token. When would that be relevant? Never. Well, oh, actually, I mean, there's a lot of cards out there that buff up like tokens and stuff like that. Like all tokens get some effect. So it gets around non-token effects first, but then it gets the token at, you know, for a whole 1 blue and 1 generic. It can become a token anyway. That's jank, but that can be used to do some weird stuff. No, please indulge us, because I have not a damn clue. Clear ship. Dodges Conclave. Oh! Banshee MTG, yes. So if the Skyclave Apparition enters the battlefield to exile a non-token permanent, you can't hit the Emozyong Crew if you have the mana up. Broken with that Elspeth that sweeps all non-tokens. This is the funny thing. You guys, you find like synergy where there should be none. I find that you know, when we look at these AI generated cards, I mean, the creativity is there big time. You can populate all the defender 1/1s you want. Yeah. Do whatever you want with these stupid defending 1/1s. Good Phyrexian theme is good design overall. All right. You guys want to ship it? All right, we ship this card. It's one of the funnier ones. Okay, hold on. This is legit architecture in the future sight frame. For a green 1 generic, it's an instant. Return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile legit architecture. That could be broken. It's like Reanimator for artifacts and enchantments. Does such a card exist? Now that I think about it. And it's instant speed, so you could like end of turn. What are we bringing back into play with this? What would we legit architecture? It's great. I love the flavor. You know, we're taking stuff from the rubble and we're making legit architecture out of it. Yeah, it's green reanimate, but for artifacts and enchantments. Yeah, what's the so what's the most broken thing that we can go get? Oh, omniscience. Omniscience, here we go. Mindslaver's not, well, Mindslaver's, yeah, not too bad, but you still need the activated cost. Food chain? Well, food chain, yeah, so if you lost a food chain, you get back a food chain. Bolus's Citadel. Just, I guess what you can do is like turn, I don't know how you discard the cards, but you're gonna do it, people. You're gonna discard the cards and you're gonna legit architect. You can legit architecture a Blightsteel Colossus onto the battlefield. So much of this is busted. Well, I mean, it's Reanimator, right? It's like a Reanimator card. But we have so many Reanimator cards. Is it such a big deal that we reanimate an artifact or an enchantment? Millmaster gifting the 10 subs, or the 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Millmaster. You're so generous. That's insane. A bit strong compared to trash for treasure. Blightsteel gets shuffled back. Oh yeah, you'd never get Blightsteel. Oh, actually, it's instant speed, so you could loot, get Blightsteel in the graveyard, trigger on the stack. If I'm pretty sure it has the old templating of trigger on the stack. You can shuffle it into your. You could reanimate it, and then whatever. Then the trigger resolves and nothing happens. Isn't it harder to get an enchantment in your graveyard than a creature though? With looting effects, not really. Or discard to hand size or something. Millmaster is the best. Oh, it's a replacement effect? Blightsteel Colossus. Trample Infect. If Blightsteel would be put into a graveyard from anywhere. Oh, okay, so it never actually gets there. Thought it was like Emrakul. Okay, true story. No Blightsteel. We're not Blightsteel cannon is not going to be able to get targeted by legit architecture, but we can hit everything else. It's a lot of great legit architecture out of there, if you know what I mean. All right, we shipping or shredding this thing? I would like to see this printed. I think this is pretty cool. I don't know if it should be instant speed. That seems a bit stupid. It should be, probably should be a sorcery. Omniscience and Pioneer, easy turn 3, seems insane. Shred it. Is Omniscience legal in Pioneer? Okay, we got a ship. We have another ship. We have another ship. 4 ships in a row. That's undeniable. Let's go. We're shipping this thing. Everyone loves it. Everyone who doesn't appreciate legit architecture? All right, we've got. I have to adjust how we do this. This is like a double side card. Hold on. Does this show it very well? Ugh, not really. How about this one? How about this one? Okay, this is a 4/4 creature on the side. That's all you have to. That's all you have to know. And you guys get cut off. It's called Stagger Sail. 4 mana. It's an artifact. Creatures you control get +2/+2 at the beginning of each upkeep. If a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Stagger Snail, and it turns into a 4/4 lifelink that says all other creatures get +1/+1. Other elves can't be cast, and as it has 5 or more cards in their graveyard. What the hell does that mean? That's that makes no sense to me. Other elves can't be cast, and as it has 5 or more cards in their graveyard. Templating, people. Sorry, Chris, I've retired from this for a moment. Just for a while. I'll let you know when it comes back. Are we shipping this thing? This is crazy. Well, I mean, it's a hate card for elves, that's for sure. So do you know what's an interesting thing? Okay, you play this thing for 4 mana, and then if the elf player decides to spew a bunch of elf creatures, you're basically telling the elf player, you gotta play at like a very slow, at a slower pace. It's not even an elf itself. That's awkward. Maybe it is. So maybe there's an elf. It's a werewolf, right? So it might have started off as an elf. Although it started off as a boat, it seems. It started off as a boat and then turned into a werewolf. That's funny. Yeah, hates on elf balls. So, I mean, elves can still exist. No, hold on. Other elves can't be cast. No, it just straight up, other elves can't be cast. No, so here's the deal. When this thing's on the battlefield, If the player casts 2 or more spells, so it prevents the elf player from casting more than 2 spells. Because if they do, they better like blow all the cards onto the battlefield, because it's gonna this thing's gonna transform, and then your elves they're not allowed to come back. Thank you so much for the super chat. Colorless Anthem +2/+2 for 4 mana. Ship it now. Waz not even looking at the other side of this. It's just like, hey, I just want to Colorless Anthem. All right, well, for the super chat, you paid for it. We're going to ship it. Okay. Moving on. Better than Vanquish's Banner. That's true. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. The 4 mana for +2/+2. It's good enough by itself. I think this is the first Planeswalker that has 6 loyalty abilities. That's a world record. Is there any that even hit 5? Look at all these loyalty abilities. They're running out of space on the card. All right, Palace. Pale of the Queen. Green, 3 generic for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. We get to +2, draw a card. X can't be 0. Got it. Thank you so much for the super chat. What's the one thing elves can't learn? The alphabet. Do I have a laugh track here? I don't. Oh, I have this though. There we go. I got something for you there. Okay, so we got the +2, draw a card. X can't be 0. Okay, thank you for letting us know. 0. Create a 1/1 white human creature token. That's pretty fair, honestly. It's not that bad. These abilities so far are quite reasonable. -2, draw 2 cards instead. You lose life equal to the number of counters on Palace Pale of the Queen. That's really fair. So you go down, you get 2 cards, but the loyalty is going to be super vulnerable and you're dying. There's a second 0 ability. You may return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. That's busted. I mean, that's better than Jace. Maybe it's not busted, but it's definitely better than Jace's minus ability. And it's a non-land permanent. You can bounce anything. You can bounce artifacts, enchantments, other planeswalkers. Take that to Fairy. You want to bounce me? Then -3, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards. So you have the option to just take pure 2 cards, or you get to somewhat loot. A super loot. And +1, add colorless. If this creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Okay, 2 of these abilities don't make any sense. This card is so jam-packed with random stuff. What if we made a planeswalker that could do anything? What color would it be? Well, it has to be green, because green can do anything and everything. Oh yes, the last +1 is preparing for it gets equipped with Luxior. I guess so. Best planeswalker ever. It's not a creature. Not yet. Not yet. Okay, Gustavo says ship it. Burn it! Yeah, it's funny. If Palace Pale the Queen was a creature, if it would die this turn, exile it instead. I might just be imagining things, but doesn't W7 have 5 loyalty abilities? No, it might, maybe, but this one has 6. So this is a world record. Send it to Guinness. To the Shredder. I think too many of these abilities actually don't make any sense, so we can shred this thing. Although they were pretty lukewarm. They weren't that crazy. 5 mana, draw 3 cards, discard 2. It's not that insane. Okay, Abducts of Forest. The forest will abduct you. The blue and 3 generic. For a 2/3 Drake. When Abducts of Forest enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. Pay 3 energy, Monstrosity 3. So you get to put... So it's basically 4 mana for a 5/6 creature. Which is pretty big, but not big enough. When Abducts of Forest becomes monstrous, you gain 1 life for each Zyber you control. Ah, yes. It's been a while since we heard these random mechanics that we cannot interpret here. I don't know what a Zyber means. You gain 1 life for each Zyber you control? Is that some new creature token or something of the future? It's fair. It's very fair. 4 mana for a 5/6. Frankly, that wouldn't even cut it in Modern these days. And it's a Drake that doesn't fly. I guess because he's too fat. Too big. Been abducting too many forests. It's ahead of its time. Yeah. Fair magic for modern. Future proof with Zybers. It is draftable. There is a Zyber Planeswalker that was generated by the AI. Man, the AI loves the Zyber mechanic. If anyone knows what the Zyber mechanic is, let us know in the comment section below. They should describe their mechanics in their cards if they have the text room. Can't fly with that big booty. Nope. Got to get on that. Got to buy yourself a Bowflex. To be fair, it mentions Zyber as a creature type, so now changelings are Zybers. Oh, okay. So, interesting. It's a tribe, Keck W. Even for blue with their smaller creatures, this seems fine. Yeah, it's totally fine. We can ship it. Excellent design. It's a bit strange, though. I mean, the monstrosity is, like, free, and why wouldn't you pay it? And I guess you gotta wait until you have enough Zybers in play. And you could use the energy for something else, I guess. Alright, we've got... Oh, beautiful art! AI knows how to do art better than anything else. The Necromancer. No one's ever seen this Necromancer before. And it's not... There's not even any black in the casting cost. We have white, Simic Hybrid, and 2 generic. For a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. It's a Zyber! It's the Zyber of all Zybers. It's like... It's legendary Planeswalker Zyber. Alright, so Zyber is a person. The Zyber has arrived. Oh, thanks so much for the super chat, Robert. I want to make a cappuccino, but I don't know if I should make vanilla or caramel. Vanilla. I'll tell you why. I would take vanilla because I get diarrhea if I use caramel. So, vanilla all the way. And I like vanilla. Okay, so let's... This is the legendary Zyber that we've heard so much about. Now it's come to life. Alright. Some people's like, ship it before we even read it. +1, create a 0/1 green plant creature token. You got it, bub. -2. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Just feels like a Nissa for some reason. Then -8. If you somehow get there, each player shuffles all permanents they own into their library, then draws that many cards. Each player draws a card, then discards 2 cards. Well, that last ability has absolutely nothing to do with the first few. I imagine this is like the Necromancer before they became the Necromancer. Before it was all about life. You know, the origin story. They were a gardener. They loved watching things grow, the sunlight, the nature. And then one day, probably someone went in and stomped their garden, and then they went down a dark path that couldn't come back. Yeah, that -8, if you can somehow get it to pull off. That's, what is that? You gotta go +1 4 times. Okay, a lot of people want to print it. It's not technically broken or anything like that. And it's the legendary Zyber. How do we not ship this thing? Yeah, the botanist that goes postal. Is bent colored, becomes Necromancer, so later is then Sultai colored. Ah, yeah, that's right. Exactly. From the light to the dark. That ultimate would be insane. Each player shuffles all permanents they own into their library, draws that many cards. Each player draws a card. Then each player draws a card, then discards 2 cards. So yeah, everyone ends up with 6 cards. It's basically draw 8, discard 2. A little bizarre, really. But whatever. It's like, oh yeah, it's a common too. So that everyone can have a Zyber. You know, this would be one of the most popular cards. It would be a hot seller. They made sure that it's going to be readily available. Plenty of supply to meet demand. Okay. Next, we'll go Seeker of the Ancient Technique. I like the sound of that. Blue, 3 generic for a 3/3 with Vanishing 2. Well, it's not going to be around for very long. It's a bird pirate. Oh, that's nice. It's got the pirate, and I guess, you know, every pirate has their parrot. When Seeker of the Ancient Technique has 2 or more loyalty counters on it, draw 3 cards instead. Okay. Can we just make creatures planeswalkers out of thin air? When Seeker of the Ancient Technique is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put other card into your hand. Okay. From where? Where's that card coming from? Bobby's like, not Zyber, shred. These non-Zyber cards. Wait, doesn't that mean they draw the same number of cards as permanents that they had? I have no idea. No, the last one was you push up and then they draw that many. Oh yeah, they do. You draw cards. Okay, just to move back to Necromancer. You draw cards equal to the number of permanents that you put into your library. Then everyone draws. So if someone had no permanents, for example, they just draw a card, then discard 2 cards. That would really suck. Somehow this is a mythic. Try to keep it away from the hands of everybody else. Pirate versus Zyber must be the theme of this set. Putting Pot of Greed into my hand. That's right, you can take cards from other games. Shred this. This is made by a 4-year-old. Too bad the art is so good. Great art, but doesn't make any damn sense. If a Planeswalker dies while it's a creature, you can put the loyalty counters onto Ozlith, then enter combat and put the loyalty counters onto Seeker. Oh my god! When Seeker of the Ancient Tactique has 2 or more loyalty counters on it, that's crazy. So loyalty counters can go onto Ozlith? Okay, well that's you guys are working the mind. You guys can see things that no one else could see. Pro players wouldn't even see those lines. All right, so okay, we shipping or shredding this thing? I think we shred it because I don't like thinking about this card. In fact, it's gonna get the big no from me. It's got vanishing too, so try to get those cards while you can. Okay, we got the Kanji Teal Master. Green 3 generic, flying. When Kanji Teal Master enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on it. A counter on each creature you control. Okay, what about the Kanji? When Kanji Teal Master dies, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. Okay, so technically, so it's a 0/0. It's gonna die instantly. Don't even know why the flying is there. On each creature you control. Hold on. Okay, it's gonna die with the trigger on the stack, though. It enters the battlefield, dies instantly. Both things trigger. You do get a counter on all your creatures, and then you get to deal 5 damage to each creature without flying. Your sacrifice was well noted. I want this for my Hamza deck. If you have an Anthem on the battlefield, it will survive, but outside of that, no, it's gone. It's a board wipe only for flying creatures. Oh, no, hold on. No, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. Without flying. So it's a board wipe. It'd be good for a flyers deck, so you can +1. You buff up your flyers and you kill everything that doesn't fly. It doesn't die. Why wouldn't it? It's a 0/0. It would die instantly. You put it onto the battlefield and poof, it's gone. It enters as a 1/1. No, you when it enters the battlefield, it will trigger. It will trigger when it enters the battlefield, and then it will die because of state-based effects, and then you get your counter. It doesn't enter with a battlefield. It says when it enters the battlefield, put a counter on everything. Yeah, there we go. We've got Dark Star Ashura with it. It would die because ETB, trigger goes on the stack. Then they would state-based effects would happen. They would check. It would die because it doesn't have any power toughness. Or it doesn't have any toughness. And then the trigger would resolve. To put counters on everything, but it's dead already. It's gone. Doesn't work as a green card. It would wipe your own board before getting the counters. Well, unless your board is big enough. You gotta think bigger, Mark. We gotta think huge. We gotta think of, you know, just like that 5/6 monstrosity creature we saw earlier. That gained life from Zybers. The effect of it dying resolves before its own ability. Correct. The damage would resolve before the counters. It's not even damage. It's its patheticness. It's got it's got nothing. It's literally a spirit. It says dragon, but it should be just called a spirit. It's great for a dragon deck. Dragons have flying. Flying and they're buff. They're all big and thick and strong. Hydras enter with a yeah, so Hydras are different. Exactly. So are we shipping or shredding this card? It's an interesting card. 4 mana board wipe in green. Reverse Hurricane. Duar is like, not a Zyber, shred it. This chat is pro Zyber. The AI almost had it. Okay, we got ship it, ship it, ship it. We got 1 shred. I think we're shipping this thing. I think it's interesting. Ship, shred. It's a board wipe in green. It doesn't need that. No. Correction, it absolutely does need it. Ship, yeah, it seems wild. All right, we're going to ship this one. It's a cool card. You hear that, Wizards of the Coast? Green needs more board wipes. Wonderful picture. Goblin War Orimos. Blue, 3 generic for a 1/1. Human wizard. Flying protection from black. This is the most garbage flying creature I've ever seen. Blinds you control have first strike. Trample as long as it has a +1/+1 counter on it if it is a single or more creatures, and it becomes a Kithkin spirit in addition token. Whenever my brain like skips a beat or something or starts trying too hard to process what I learned, I think it's about time we send it back to the editor. They should have proofed this thing before they submitted it to us. Yeah, it hurt my brain. It did not pass the brain freeze test. The brain damage. It's gonna give me a stroke if I read that thing again. Blinds you control have first strike. But it has pro black. It's flying with pro black. The artwork isn't even good. You hear that? They're ragging on your artwork too, AI. Alright, we're moving on. Wastes! Oh, alternate waste. Nice. Ship it. Okay, the Mind Griffin. Black, 2 generic for a 3/3 flyer. Protection from untapped! That is a fresh mechanic. Protection. Oh, it's an Eldrazi incarnation. Of course, the Eldrazi would find a way to get protection from creatures with vigilance or some nonsense like that. Red, 2 generic. Destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. Oh my god! Activate only as a sorcery. This thing's insane. Okay, so protection from untapped. What is this? If you have any creature that you want to block with, you can't block with it because this creature has protection from untapped. If you have vigilance, you can block the thing and not take any damage. But what's funny is if they're attacking, if they tap their creature to attack you, I cannot block it freely. I can only freely block anything with vigilance. Are spells untapped? Ooh, good question. I think it would only matter to permanents on the board. Looks janky. And it has basically 4 mana, destroy non-artifacts and non-black creatures. Destroy non-artifact, non-black creature. Okay, fair enough. Oh, that's right. Where was that? Planeswalkers are always untapped. So protection from planeswalkers, correct. They're always untapped on the... Well, not always. Gideon sometimes gets in that red zone. Planeswalkers are untapped most of the time. Even AI knows Eldrazi died because of bans. Proceeds to balance it with trash. This is an interesting design. This is fresh. This is a fresh take on protection of something. Instant staple in Pauper Grixis control. Oh yeah, it's a common. 4 mana for a 3/3 flyer. I mean, that's good enough by itself. Surprisingly balanced. I guess at 4 mana, sure. Alright, were we shipping this? Ship it, honestly. Alright, let's ship this card. It's a fun card. AI knows how to make some gems once in a while. Maybe good in Zyber meta. Absolutely. The Zybers. Alright, Keeper of the Rebellion. It's one of these cards. You guys see this? What can I show? Oh, there we go. This shows very well. Okay, Keeper of the Rebellion. We've got a 5/5 Spirit for 4 mana. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature that died this turn. Good God, this could be 2 mana for a 5/5 Spirit. Legendary, though. How do we get to the other side? This looks impossible. So on the other side, we've got a black, 2 generic. Or is this just a double-sided card? We can cast either side. 4/4. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent... create a token that's a copy of that creature, and it gains haste until end of turn. Whenever you sack a permanent, create a token that's a copy of that creature. So you don't sacrifice anything. We didn't lose anything. Whoa, white Juzam Dejin. It could be even better if you lost creatures that turn, it cost less, and then the black side lets you sacrifice things, and you get cards anyway. This is an infinite loop, so you basically. Yeah, this seems insane, and Commander probably goes infinite too easily. Basically, any sack outlet goes infinite with the backside. I sacrifice a land. I get it as a creature. That's... Oh yeah, whenever you sacrifice a permanent, if you sacrifice a planeswalker, if you sacrifice anything, it comes back as a creature. That's hilarious. And it gains haste until end of turn, of course. If you have 2, you can make infinite copies with free sack outlets. No, you can sacrifice anything. It's like you just need, if you have 2, I think you just make infinite copies of any particular card. Because you just sack the permanent, you get a copy of it, you sack it again, you just continuously get copies for eternity. You gotta transform it first, but how? Maybe it's a double-sided card. You can choose to cast the white side, you choose to cast the black side. Oh no, it is a transform card. It's 4/4. Okay, so if you want the super busted right side, how do you get it? How do we get the... How do you transform this damn thing? It's a modal double... Is it modal double-faced? I'm just trying to think if they would show this 4/4 on here. If it was modal... It's nightbound? Daybound? I have no idea. With the legend rule, it breaks the game with 2 of itself. That's true. You get the legendary permanent, you get the legendary permanent, you get the legendary permanent. Just keeps coming back, keeps getting sacrificed. You basically lock the game. But you wouldn't be able to get the second card in Commander, only in his 60 card format. But wouldn't just creatures to sacrifice work? Absolutely. Absolutely. There are a couple cards that transform every creature you control. Okay, that's possible. So so this is outrageously busted on the right side. Left side's not bad by itself, by the way. But outrageously busted on the right side. Combos with any... It's infinite sacrificing for any sack outlet. And but the question is how you have to work to get the second half of this card on the battlefield. Moon Mist transforms it. Oh yeah, this card. Transform all humans, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn by creatures. No, but is this a human? It's a spirit. You can't transform this thing. That does not work. White side's still amazing. It doesn't need to transform. We need a judge. How do we get to is this a double-sided card? How do we flip this thing? What about it? It's a Dijin. Oh yeah, the other side is a Dijin. Transform transform other side doesn't get a mana cost. Oh, so okay, so because it has a mana cost, we actually can just cast the card. You just use the back side or the white side. Got it. All right, it's been solved. All right, problem solved. It is okay. Are we shipping or shredding this card? This is beyond stupid. I imagine that we cannot let this thing... I think it's basically a modal card. I agree. It has to be shredded then. Too easy to get our 4/4 Abomination with the 4/4 Abomination here. Daybound and Nightbound are static abilities. Alright, we're shipping this thing. Too easy to get the Eternal Sacrificing. How do we get to my... There we go. Okay, now we're going with Ethereal Wings. Blue 1 generic. If Ethereal Wings would enter the battlefield, you may reveal your hand and put a slime counter on Ethereal Wings as an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a slime counter on Ethereal Wings and draw a card. I have no idea what you do with these slime counters. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a slime counter on Ethereal Wings and draw a card. Alright, that's great. Why did we have to reveal our... But why did we have to reveal our hand? What was the point of that? You may reveal your hand. Okay, I'll choose not to. I think it's better that way. Gustavo likes the art. It looks like a butterfly caught in a bunch of slime. More and more slime, just for fun. For a slime counter. There might be other synergy out there, like... You get like a big buff for how many slime counters are on permanents on your battlefield, or draw a card for all slime counters or something like that. So maybe we don't fully understand the synergy to this, and it's such a low... I mean, it costs nothing to just show your opponent your hand to get that slime counter. Yeah, weird flex, but okay. We need more slime counters on it. The Slime Rancher deck. Proliferate for fun. When you're hellbent, you can get a free slime counter without any cost. That's right. Extra draw into blue. The sludge monster. Slime is a Zyber mechanic? We'll never know. Unless the AI explains it to us. Return to Slimenica. The set I have been waiting for. Is slime even a thing in Magic? That sounds like uncharted territory. Then you turn it into a creature so you can get the slime counter on Ozolith. Ozolith shall have all the counters. Templating issue plus borked equals shred. Is the word borked on here? Ooze is. Oh yeah, they get some slime counters. Oozes, but no smiles. Toxrill has slime counters. Okay, okay. Goes infinite with Basalt Monolith, probably. Okay, do we ship or shred this card? It's a common. At the beginning of your upkeep. Actually, this is a very... Oh, whoa. Hold the fort here. 2 mana, draw a card at our upkeep. Did we, like, forget about this card? This is insane. At the beginning of our upkeep, put a counter on it, slime counter on Ethereal Wings, and draw a card. For 2 mana, we're drawing 2 cards a turn for forever. This is beyond nuts. This actually is a really good card. The first paragraph hides the fact that you're drawing 2 cards every single turn. And that's like, this is easily splashable in anything. Yeah, it's Phyrexian Arena without losing life, and it costs 1 mana less and easier to cast. This is insane. Yeah, I said that it's OP. You know, it tried to balance itself out by putting this reveal hand thing at first. Yeah, so goodbye. You're not making it. God, that is strong. Alright, we got the Goblin Ruth Safari. White for generic 2/3 creature. Whenever Goblin Ruth Safari attacks, you may have permanent type and lose the game. What? Don't attack, Goblin. Don't do it. You're not ready for combat. Just sit back. Whenever Goblin Ruth Safari attacks, you may have permanent type and lose the game. It sounds like something you want to give to your opponent and then goad them into attacking. Oh, you may have permanent type and lose the game. Oh, so we have the option to concede or not. You, the player, become a permanent. You may have permanent type. No, you may have permanent type, but I think you have to lose the game. Do we have the option to lose the game or not? Ship, we need more support for Slime Tribal. Oh, God. And we've got Wah here with the super chat. Thanks so much for the super chat. For Ethereal Wings, maybe each time it gets a slime counter, reveal your hand. Would that work? Still, you're drawing a card every single turn. I think that's a bit nasty. I guess that sort of, it doesn't really balance it out, but yeah, okay, I draw a card here. Look at my hand. This is what I got. May isn't must. I understand that, but okay, we may have permanent type. Okay, we may have permanent type and lose the game, so we may have both of those. So it does not mean that we actually have to lose the game. If a player becomes a permanent, they auto lose because there's no more player playing. I guess. AI do not like humans or soldiers and made Zybers cringe. It's trying to turn the players into game pieces. Okay, Tommy says, hear me out. It combos with Book of Exalted Deeds. Does it? It's not even a... Oh, yeah. It's a Goblin Ruth Safari. Well, I guess we're on a safari as a human soldier, and we're going to look at the Goblin Safari. All those goblins in there. It's conditional. It's not even a goblin. It grants you Valhalla. Is that a reference to Mad Max? You make your player type an angel and exalted deeds on yourself. You may have permanent type, but then you lose the game. Opponent uses Mindslaver. I'm going to give you Goblin Ruth Safari, and then I'm going to Mindslave your turn, and I'm going to make you lose the game. Okay, are we shipping or shredding this thing? It's a funny card to interpret, but no matter what, if you activate this ability, if you want to attack, you're going to lose the game. You have permanent type and you lose the game at the same time. I think we shred this thing. This is absolutely pointless. Shred, it's really bad. I say shred. All right, we're going. It's to the gallows with you. To the shredded paper. Goblin Guildmage. Red, 3 generic for a 3/3 undying. When Goblin Guildmage enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's pretty good! That's actually pretty good. Bit of a color pie break. I don't think red should ever be blowing up the enchantments, but it gets it twice. It can die and then do it all over again. This is incredible. Huge color pie break, but it's actually quite fair. There's a lot of red players are out there. Finally! We have some way to deal with those stupid enchantments. The Goblin, that's an elf art. Okay, that explains destroying artifacts and enchantments. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing or something like that. The elf archer makes sense. So it's officially an elf archer, but it parades itself around as a goblin guild mage. Yet again, not even a goblin. It's Halloween. Everyone's goblin for Halloween. Ship it, I guess. It's not even an effing goblin. An archer with no reach. But yeah, that's true. Or an archer with no reach. But it destroys artifacts and enchantments now. Change it to green, then ship it. Instant ad for mono red commander decks. Yes, instant staple. It's an elf archer with with undying. elf in goblin cosplay. It's so cool to be like a goblin. And then they go to the Goblin Safari. Goblin Ruth Safari. Goblin Ruth Safari must be some sort of like Goblin Con or a Goblin convention. Everyone cosplays as a goblin, but they're all some different creature type. Maybe Goblin, it's just a military title. Maybe. That's also possible. All right, let's ship this thing. Seems like a fun card. And that's going to be it for Coffee and MTG today. Thank you very much for joining me. As usual, we do this Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thanks so much with the support, with the super chats, with everyone becoming members. Lets me know that you love the channel, you love the show. We got to keep doing this every single weekday. But most importantly, thank you for showing up. Without your creativity, there would be no show. Where would the show be without you guys? You guys make the show. I want to let you know that the show is all you. So keep brewing up those coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care.